Hey, what's up everybody? XJoe81X here at my house along with JK18. We're videotaping the closing of the sprinkler heads 2014. We had zone 1 on before we started recording. That was the flower beds to the right in front of the house. And now zone 2 is shutting off. Zone 3 is going to be on the side of the house. We're basically making sure that all the heads work. All the heads have water in them for what it's worth, and also just for me to take note of what heads are on. What we're going to do is I'm going to walk and talk. We're going to shoot over to the deck and try to get a different angle because it's going to we're going to get into the backyard. So basically this is zone 4. We had zone 3 on the side of the house, which is 4 or 5 heads, I think 4. This is going to be zone 4. We're on the deck so we don't get wet. I see 1, 2, 3 heads working perfectly for what it's worth. You just write this down for purposes on the timer. And zone 5 is going to be to the right. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, this video, which is going to be videotaped by JK18, is basically showing you multiple ways of blowing out your home sprinkler system. Now, by no means is this a golf course where, in a sense, where you need multiple air compressors. This square footage is definitely for your do-it-yourselfers. Looks like all the heads are working. I'm sure next season they could use a little tweaking, but that's irrelevant right now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the setup that I have real quick. We're going to show you what a little bit of a snag we had before we started the video, and then we're going to get right into blowing out each zone. And my friend JK18, if I miss anything, be sure to interrupt or jump in. He's blown out his sprinklers for many years now. You can check out his YouTube channel at JK18, his username, and he shows you how to adjust the sprinklers and how to do you discuss how to turn them on?
Yeah, I show every year how to turn them on and blow them out to shut them off for the winter.
Okay, that's it right now. Alright everybody, this is basically your solenoids that turn on each zone. And my house currently has 5 zones. Obviously every house is different depending on the square footage and how much grass or foliage or plants. And it determines what you talk to, how your local landscaper or lawn sprinkler installer. This is basically a quick setup in a sense where it comes out of the house. They ran the wire with it, which is basically low voltage wire, and it comes out. This one is basically to bleed the system, or even you could hook up a hose spigot if this side of the house doesn't have a hose. And there's a couple of blowout valves and security measures and on and offs, and it goes underneath and basically feeds to 5 zones. This is probably approximately 3 years old. And I wasn't home when they installed it, but to my knowledge they use a big tool now, and all this PVC is like a big giant lawnmower, and it just starts at this point and it shoots it a certain way. Now when they left, you could tell there was some kind of installation, but it wasn't old school where you had to dig trenches. So basically when we went to go turn this on and make sure all the zones were on, me and JK18 discovered that the timer, which you'll see in a second downstairs, it wasn't firing, it wasn't functioning. So we tested everything out. We made sure we had 20, how many volts? 24 volts. We actually had 29. And basically we tested all the wiring out. And basically we found out that the rain sensor was tripping the system in a sense that it was still wet and the system wasn't going to fire. And I'm going to leave you to Jay to explain that.
Okay, basically what happens is there's 2 ways they can hook a rain sensor up. First and foremost, this is the rain sensor on this house. It's that little white thing right smack in the middle of your screen. all that is basically an on-off switch. There's two ways they could wire this. They could wire it back to the actual sprinkler timer panel itself, which is the right way, but most sprinkler guys do it the cheap way, which is fine, it works, there's no problem with it, and that's what they did here. So you see the wire, it's cable tied down this pipe here, and it runs down, you can see it, and it comes in here. So what we found inside, which is why the wires are a bit of a mess here, is this is the main cable from the house with all these wires here. They just use whatever they have handy, depending how many zones and that. They probably have for like 12 zone systems, and they only use what's needed, okay? But what they did is, back at the timer itself, the white wire, which I'm holding right here, is the common wire to drive all of these solenoids. You see they all have two wires. Every one of them runs on 24 volts, and the timer just turns them on, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that, for whatever time it's set. What they did is, this is the wire right here from the rain sensor. Okay, it's just two conductor wires, it's got red and black in it. And what happened was, because we had a lot of rain just a couple days ago, the rain sensor was tripped. So that actually kills power. So it was not allowing power to go from this common wire here into this here. And as you see, there's a whole bunch of wires that goes to each one of them. And then all of the others have their own color, yellow for one zone, orange for another, blue, etc. And it goes on like that. So we had to bypass the rain sensor in the box. So that's why this jumper wire is here, as you see, with the alligator clips. It's simply bypassing, essentially connecting where these two wires go. It's just jumping these points right here, and that's bypassing the rain sensor because it takes a couple days for that to dry out. So now we're going to go in and we'll show you the actual timer and show you how that works and how it's supposed to be wired in, and then we'll get on to blowing these out. So here's the timer that XJoe81X has here. This is a Orbit timer. It's got 6 zones on it. There's your backup battery in here, which actually runs the clock and everything like that. It doesn't run off the 24 volt transformer. That's just to drive the solenoids. And basically all you see here is the 24 volts comes in right here to power. It says 24 volts AC in. Pretty simple stuff here. Common wire. You see it says common. That's the white wire I showed you outside. And then you got black, blue, yellow, green, and orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like it says right up here. So now you just adjust your timer depending on what your timer is and does and all that. And then you can actuate all of the zones manually. Like if you wanted zone 1 on over on this one, you just drive that right up to manual on and zone 1 will go on. So now we're going to show you 2 different ways to blow out the zones, both using the panel here and outside, doing it manually without the electricity, which is you know, the transformer here. So that way you know how your sprinkler guys do it, but you can actually just use it using the timer here. Another thing I forgot to mention, over here there's a switch that says rain sensor. It's a little, you need like a pen point to get in there and switch it. It's a little micro switch for that. If they did this back to the timer, which is the way it's supposed to be done, you can actually see it says sensor right there, and under this little tab you can see that. So that red and black wire in the white sheath would have normally been connected here, but what it's doing outside is it's just interrupting the common wire to prevent the zones from firing. So the timer doesn't even know that it rained. The rain sensor is kind of working on a manual basis like that, like almost like a hack job, but it works fine, and they do it all the time because it's there. They don't have to run wires inside. It's simpler, quicker, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and it's done. So anyways, what we're going to do is shut the water off first. So here's the water shut off in this house right here. It's just a valve, so you just shut that off. And now we have no water to the outside. Now we're going to go outside and we'll show you the hookups there and how you do this. This is the device that I came up with for blowing out sprinkler systems here. Basically all you have here, this is an automotive male air fitting with female threads, and another of the exact same with male threads they screw together, okay? This is an old washing machine hose, just like you'd have on your washer at home, and it's been around, as you can tell, but this will screw on right down to the spigot over there, okay, to blow air in, all right? And of course you put air into here and that's it. So I found that this diameter was perfect for this hose just with a clamp. So the clamp is just clamping this part right in here to make a nice tight fit. And that's how you blow air through to get everything blown out. So now what we need to do is to let everything drain naturally. So we're going to open up the spigot at the bottom there. Okay, so you can just go ahead and hit that because we have the water off in the house. Just open it right up. There shouldn't really be anything.
Nope, there's nothing in here.
Okay.
So basically I got my compressor here. Basically it's a Home Depot brand Husky that I bought. Oh geez, maybe it's on the tag. I mean maybe 2003. It's copyrighted, so maybe 2003, maybe early oh no, here it is right here. Well, let me get the camera here. Where am I? The sun. Basically this was manufactured in 2003. So I either bought it before Christmas or right after the new year. Probably before, since the weather was not bad. This thing has been around for many years. Basically it's a typical compressor that I think every homeowner should buy, other than the pancake one, because that's good for brad nailing and stuff. But this is a 5.2 horsepower, 25 gallon air compressor, 150 max PSI. I have a hose on here that I bought, which is, what would you say this hose is made out of?
PVC.
PVC, but I should get a rubber hose, because in the winter I'm noticing this is it's very brittle. It doesn't work, and actually JK18 brought a rubber hose here, and I mean you could just feel the texture.
You can just see with how it bends, it's real nice and flexible. And this, while it is flexible, it's still kind of stiff. It still kind of wants to stay how it is. As soon as it
gets below temperature with this thing won't unravel. And I'm sure this does.
Oh yeah.
So basically what we're going to do is, this is already charged up. I'm going to plug it in. Basically what I did was just watch last year. The guy hooked up his compressor. He came in an old like 88 Chevy Silverado. He pulled up, you know, in front of the house. He ran his hose. He pulled the gas line, because obviously they don't use your electricity. And he just ran it. The tank just ran. It ran the whole time. So he's going from house to house and just blowing it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this all up, plug it in, because I'm definitely going to run out of air. And I'm going to show you how to turn these on manually. I'm going to do the first two zones manually, because the first two zones are in the front and we won't get wet. Then my buddy here is going to take the camera. He's going to stand somewhere over here, and this is the third zone. There's a couple of heads up here, and we're going to run the third zone through the window. He's going to tell me to turn it on manually until the point where he feels enough air has gone out where I could shut it off. And then depending on which is better or how I feel, I'm going to run the air through the fourth and fifth zone. Okay, so let me get everything charged up and ready to go, and then we'll be right back.
Right here, what's hooked up, I just happen to have a little ball valve that I put in line with fittings and that, so you can turn the air supply on and off like that. The compressor's charged up, ready to go. Hooked up to the rubber hose here, which runs down. You saw that right before, and that is tied in right there.
Now, could you essentially, can you actually just get a longer red hose and put this connection on that red hose and eliminate that junction?
Yes, you can. If you get one that'll, if this hose is the same diameter, you can do that. Or you can actually even buy fittings. This was just a handy piece of hose I had, so that's why I did it this way. Mm-hmm. But you can actually buy fittings to go from the air fittings and convert them down to a hose thread, and just have like a one-piece unit just like that plugs in, and then you just run your air hose right to that little unit that you'd have plugged in there. So the water in the house is off. We have this cracked open. Okay.
Well, fully open.
Fully open. Yeah, fully open. I'm sorry. And these valves are open because they are running parallel to the pipes. Okay. So these are all open, so now air can flow. The main thing you want to do is open the zone first. Now here's how the sprinkler guys do it. You can see the zones. Now I'll just show you one that's handy, and then XGO81X will actually do it here. This one, just because it's easy to see. you just grab the entire top of it. You can put your thumb on that little thing there. See this right here? And just turn it like you're opening a soda bottle or something like that. About 180 degrees or so. And then you put on the air. So go ahead and open that valve there. Okay. Sometimes they're real tight, so
A little bit more than 180, but
okay, good.
We'll see.
So now we're all set. And now all we have to do is turn on this little valve here. And these are the sprinkler heads in the flower bed right here.
yes.
So here we go. So as you see, we got a lot of the water out, but look right here quick. This is still pumping water, so we still have a lot of water in the line. So we gotta wait till these start blowing air also, which they will eventually. Air now it's going. We're getting air, so we just gotta let it pump through. So just leave this run for a little bit until that comes out. There we go, now we're getting lots of air. That's what you wanna see. And you're going to do every zone one at a time. Now you see there's still quite a bit of water here, so we'll leave this go for a little bit. Then we'll shut the air off, let the compressor recover. That way we get full pressure one more time to go through everything. And then we'll hit it again. This side over here, there's no more water, so we're looking good here. That's still got some, so what we're going to do is let the compressor recover now. Nice and quiet now. The compressor is recovered. Now we hit it one more time on this zone. So go ahead and hit the handle. You hear the air coming out here. Still just a little bit coming. You can feel the air. You can hear it right there. And you just let that go until you're comfortable enough feeling that all the water is out of the system. It looks like this zone is good because I don't see any more water coming out of any heads. So it looks like we can go ahead and shut this right now.
Okay, so now I'm going to close zone 1 completely. This way air doesn't flow into the other zones that we do not need. Obviously it's the reverse of what you just did. You know, put your hands on it. Make it a little nice snug. So this is number 2. You can pretty much see this a lot better. Number 2 should be the front lawn. Turn it. This is 180. I'm going to go a little bit more, and it actually stops just shy of 360, which I believe is the tab. And if I was to pull the tab this way, I believe the solenoid would spin out completely.
Yes, that is correct.
So this is not allowing me to spin no more. So now this valve is as open as it open can be. So now when we go to the compressor that's fully charged, 1, 2, 3, 4 heads should start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, zone 2, second round. Now you can see it's mostly mist, which means we got most of the water out. You just let that run until it runs pretty clear, and when you feel comfortable that it's all done, you shut her down. Okay, so now we're going to close this valve. I felt that 2 full tanks or a tank and a half was adequate enough for the second zone. to the point where there wasn't enough mist where it'll freeze. So we're going to shut this valve completely. Basically, like we've been telling you, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So we're going to grab the tab and we're going to go to the right. It should end right about up here. Yep, and just a little snug. Get the wires out of the way. So now this is the third zone. This zone is exactly where we are right here. Here's a head right here. There's a head over there. And practically 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, but definitely 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually set the timer, or I'm going to manually turn it on, excuse me. So this way, for people who don't want to touch these, for people who can't get down on all fours and touch them, or if you don't feel as if you want to touch this way the sprinkler guy doesn't bang you if you broke it. If you so happen to say, oh yeah, I shut my own sprinkler off, I was turning the black thing, I don't know what happened, and then you breach your contract because you void your warranty, so to speak. So basically, I'm going to turn this on downstairs. JK18 showed you how to manually turn that on prior in the beginning of the video. And that's it. And then the compressor is going to be off. He'll say some words, and then as soon as you turn the compressor on, he'll be down yonder, and you should see these heads blow out.
Slight correction. Whoever installed this system, this doesn't run sequentially just because of the way the pipes run, or I don't know, whatever the deal is. It's actually 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. Just how it is. So this is actually zone 3, we found out before just troubleshooting everything. So that's the one that's going to pick. So now we're going to turn that on electrically, and you'll hear it, and then I'll show you how that one works. Okay, so here is the solenoid. So Joe, go ahead and kick on zone 3. You heard the click. If you listen carefully, there's a slight buzz. So that valve is now open, just like how we showed you when you turn it. Now we're just doing it electrically. So now, what we have to do is turn that valve on, and these heads over here will blow out. Okay, zone 3, second round. And you can see this one is in great shape. We just have a little water down at the end. This is an aside while we're waiting for the compressor to recover. If you imagine this as the pipe that's in the ground, if you don't blow out your sprinklers, this entire pipe is filled up to the top with water. And as you know, when water freezes, it expands. So if you have it filled all the way up, there's a potential for this pipe to burst over the winter when it freezes. By blowing the water out, you can't get every last drop out. So what you're trying to do is lower the water level from the very top of it to maybe about here. You know, the lower you can go, the better. You'll never know how much, but by getting that out, if there's only this much water and that freezes, it can't possibly expand to crack the pipe. So that's the idea behind blowing the sprinklers out. Okay, so zone 4 is now cracked open, and we're going to turn on the air. And it's over this way. So we'll let these blow out. It's actually a nice head he's got right there. Now it covers everything except the shed. No, the lawn is not on fire. That's what you want to see. We'll let that blow out. See, this one still has some... Oh, out of focus. There we are. This is a longer run, so sometimes you'd hit your longer runs 3 times instead of twice. That one's good now. We're almost clear there. Okay, round 2. So you still got some water in that head. But we're mostly cleaned out. Remember, like I told you before, you don't have to have the entire pipe empty. You just want to have, you know, as much as you can get out. And it looks like we're doing good. Zone 5. Any moment now. There we are. You can see there's one down there. And these two. Wow! But that one by the fence is still going. That's why you want to leave the air running for a while. Now that one's starting to bleed out. Now we're looking good. And the last of the sprinklers for 2014. Looking good right there. Alright, we're all set to shut down the last one, which in this case
It's the fourth one.
is the fourth one.
This concludes blowing out your home sprinkler system. Each system is different. Each system was wired different. Each system is plumbed different. And this is just a taste of the company that plumbed and wired mine, I want to say 3 seasons ago. The reason I'm doing this now is because I'm out of contract and it just costs way too much money for something like this. So this could technically be all tucked in. The weatherproof box could be put back. I'm going to fix the wires up. We have to fix the tape up. Like I said, we use the alligator clips to jump the rain sensor. Whether it's functioning now or not is irrelevant. And we're just going to come over here and disconnect the hose for the air line. Comes right off, of course. I'm going to leave this open. And your home sprinkler system is winterized for 2014 or whatever year it is. Please lick it. Hit like, hit subscribe, add your comments. There'll be a link in my friend's page, JK18, lending me his camera and his informational services. And check his channel out for a closing of his sprinkler system in the future. Thank you, and hopefully this video was informative.